So we hung up the last episode and we kind of struggled to move away from the topic. So here's kind of an unofficial part two. It's going to be a water cooler. Today, Jeremy, I'm going to be drinking my new favorite orange vanilla Waterloo. It's
Oh,
delicious.
wow. I need to
Kind of a
go back
creamsicle thing.
to visit you and then try it myself.
Delicious. What do you got?
Well, I just got like fizzy water, so I'm
You
good.
okay? At least you got a bubble in there. That's a little bit better. It's a Friday night. So I'm glad you have a little bit different than just water cooler water. But all right, so here's the topic we couldn't let go. Let's say, Jeremy, that I am selling this accounting software. It's pretty heavy duty. It's pretty expensive, and it's just for golf clubs, right? It's
Okay.
so my market. Um, it's not even for every golf club. They got to be of a certain caliber. And
hmm
maybe it's really only for like
Maybe it's
California
18
golf clubs.
holes versus like the 9 holes or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
And so there's not an infinite number of these businesses that I can sell to. And let's say I've had a hard time sending cold email that sounds kind of like, hey, our software addresses this
Oh
problem.
yeah, that's a difficult one.
Because let's say as well that like the reality is this is something that is a true pain to switch. Maybe your market feels it, but when the business owner comes down to it, they're like, man, if we switch systems, it's going to be such an ordeal. I got to do training again. And so you've
Mm,
had a hard time actually getting deals done. So you want
okay.
to take a different approach and scene. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the first step of your approach is you say, no matter what, we need to have a 50% reply rate on our first touch. But the
Okay. I
kicker
like I
is,
like your approach. I like
right?
your approach. Okay.
The kicker is the first touch can be anything you like it to be. Okay. You can pick up the phone and book a room at their golf club and,
And cancel.
spend some money or whatever. No, like these are big deals. So we got to get creative here.
Mhm.
Can you achieve a 50% reply rate? I think we can. I think we
Yeah,
can.
I'll definitely talk about like, their booking or whatever type of thing. So I'll go straight to reception maybe. But
Okay.
would that get me far? I don't know. But at least I'll start the ball rolling. No pun intended.
Yeah, nice. Very good. I like it. By the way, ball rolling, should we have a 10-minute timer or water cooler
No,
is
it's water
off the
cooler. So
hinges?
yeah,
Okay.
let's see that. Let's see where we're
All
going.
right, Jeremy. I want it to be harder though. I think
Hmm.
getting a reply from reception, easy buckets. We're better than that. Let's
Okay.
do 50% reply from the business owner. Okay. And
Right.
okay, so now
Now
we're
we're switching
cooking. What
gears. Okay.
Yeah, what if, Jeremy, that my touch one was simply check who won the last golf tournament this weekend and reach out and say, hey, I might be driving through Palm Springs next quarter, may have to check you out. How about
Right.
that Tiger Woods finish? Heartbreaking, huh? And that sounds like a LinkedIn message. Maybe I wouldn't reach out with an email of that. Um, but what do you think? I mean, is that 50% reply? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my approach will be more like, something like probably use a celebrity or like whatever golf clubs really crave for. Maybe it's
Okay.
exposure. So I would
Right.
probably think about like, hey, a celebrity is coming in your neighborhood. I
Ooh.
have contact with that guy. He's willing to do some golfing. Just wondering if you would
Ooh.
accommodate XYZ.
So that is pretty good. Let me riff on that, Jeremy. All right. Let's say this is a big ticket item. And I know if I sell one of these, the company's going to make, a couple hundred grand, right? Over the year. So
Yeah,
what
okay.
if I just said, hey, Joe, who's the owner of this golf club in California,
Mhm.
um, I'll reach out and I say, hey, you know what? I've never played your course, but on my dime, I'm going to send a photographer out there to just take some pictures and send it to your marketer. They can use it to update your website. Being
Or
transparent,
drone. Yeah, something a bit more like maybe technical and difficult to do, like a drone, whatever.
oh, good.
Drone shots.
Perfect. Like drone air. I love that. And say like, just being transparent. I'm in the golf biz and I just want to get to, have a chat down the road or just become acquaintances. You can see where I'm working, but just say, yeah. And I'll send them over on Thursday. Right.
Right. That's
Okay.
actually not too bad. Not too bad.
It's
Or
missing some things. It's not so smooth, but like, yeah, that
Well,
might
no,
get a
but
lot of
I
yeses.
do like the thing because you're basically starting with like offering something kind of like for free, even though there's some strings later attached. But
Right.
but the cool thing is, you could say you could just ask them if they'll be interested in something like that because a reply compared to the offer that you're giving is like not so much. So I reply in those cases, right? So it's like, hey, I'm
Okay.
willing to offer you like that big package. Do you want it, yes or no? And basically I will reply for yes and no type of thing because
Cool.
there is an imbalance between the value you're giving
Okay.
potentially versus the one that I'm giving.
Okay. So
So I'm
now
game.
imagine
Hmm.
we get a yes. Sounds great. Let's, just put me in contact with someone that I can send files to. Maybe it would be someone heading up your IT division. Okay.
Unlikely,
So
but fair enough.
no, but what I'm trying to get is an in to start talking about other facets of the tech stack that they might be using.
Well, that
Right.
could
So
be
maybe it's
Caroline. She's working in marketing
there you
for
go.
us, whatever.
Yeah, she runs the website,
Yeah, that's
send her the
right.
files. Very
Hmm.
good. And so now we've got our 50% reply. Let's pause for a second. Do you get the feeling that now we're maybe
In
tilting the
business.
playing field? No, no, no. But do you think we have a slight edge compared to the competitor who's still cold calling at this point in the game? Built up reciprocity. We have been introduced to the
Potentially, but you'll need to deliver first because here we're talking about like building trust. So if you're talking to me
sure.
about like, hey, you're coming like with your drone or whatever to take some picture,
Yeah,
you need to deliver first.
better do
Otherwise,
it.
otherwise
No, of
like
course. Of
that's some
course.
scam
And
to me.
no, no, no. So absolutely this play is going to be spend $500, get a drone flyer out there to do it, get the videos
Okay,
edited
cool. So we're good
and
with
shoot it
that.
over, right? And then you actually deliver the videos. Now, at this stage, do you feel like you might have a little bit momentum here? You might have a little bit on your side. Watch this.
Yes,
Let me try the next
potentially,
step.
but yeah, go
Let me
for
try the
it.
next
Tell
step.
me the next
All
step.
right. So I'm going to say, John, I just delivered the videos over to Heather and she seemed, quite pleased with them. She mentioned she'd throw it in the newsletter or on the about section in the coming weeks. So, that's great to hear. I got to ask, are you absolutely over the moon in love with your accounting tool right now? If you are, just tell me and I'm gone.
That's
Signature.
weird.
Are you over the moon with your accounting tool?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you'll have to try on this one, but I don't like those
Okay.
180 degrees on conversation. Like, but that may just be me. So it's hard to extrapolate from
No, you're
this.
not alone. You're not alone. And
But
I
I
think this is
remember,
this is the sticking point.
look, it was
Mm-hmm.
2014, and I was contacting financial planners in Australia. And I was basically like asking them, like, hey, I didn't provide any value there, but at the time as well, like, no one was automatically contacted.
Yeah.
Right. And so they come back with something. And then after that, I pivoted into like, I may be in the business for XYZ. Would you be interested in having a call? That didn't go very well with most of them because obviously it was a mouse and whisker, like they thought I
Yeah.
was a client. But still, it's still like a completely different thing. Okay, granted, I didn't deliver value at this point, so I agree
Yeah.
with that.
I
Right?
could try
But
one
still,
other, Jeremy. I could try one
different.
other.
Okay, okay. Let's try another.
All right, John, you got the videos. Heather said they were helpful. Hey, as I leave now, I hope to, stay in touch, but just help me out. Is there a particular month that you might review your accounting software that it might be okay for me to chime in with some more information when it's appropriate?
Okay, that's better. I still will feel played unless, unless you,
That's
well,
the
obviously
first
at the beginning.
message, unless the first message was, hey, I'm going to send a drone photographer on my
Yeah,
dime.
yeah.
The only catch is eventually I'm going to try and tell you about the, golf accounting software that's
So
so
I think what
exciting.
would be working pretty nice is actually using the second message to, gauge the value that you actually provided. Like, did you have a
Tell me.
chance to actually look at those, as those footage? If not, I'll give you a link. I would really love, to tell me if, that
Is
represent
it
properly
helpful?
yeah, if it's helpful or if
Wow.
this is something you think you can use, right?
Okay. And so they're like, hey, Jeremy, that was awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know where to pivot for this. Like, oh, can you do me a favor
To
then?
me, it
I feel
feels more
played,
like
man. Like, I don't know.
you wouldn't feel played if there was transparency on the first touch. They said, look,
That is true.
you could even say this, like, Jeremy, I've been doing business with, you know, golf club owners for 6 years. I know it's crazy hard to get a foot in the door. And because I've just started just paying people to do good drone photography as like literally a first step. And if it leads to nowhere, you got some free drone footage you can use for your website. Would you want to take me up on that? I can have a guy over on Thursday.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Bear in mind, I'm also a tough cookie. But I was thinking, hmm, if let's try to flip it on its head. Like, let's say, like, hey, Jack, I'm an accounting. Like, I will contact you. How about that? We were talking about like multiple channels the previous episode. So how about I contact you
Okay.
on one channel to just talk to you and compliment you about your course, and then say
Okay.
like, you know what? For me, I really would love like to sort of like fly it like over and then take some pictures. You can use them for your own
Right.
course, and then I could use them as well to present, some videos for software that we're building for any accounting space
Right.
for,
Okay.
golf club. So that way, it's like that's cool. It's like both are getting values. You understand why, I'm being asked, and I understand as well that.
Yeah.
And then the follow up will be like, okay, great, I'll get you that. We'll plan a day, and
Yeah.
while we're actually planning that day, Jack, do you mind if I also tell you my other side of the business or like actually what I'm
Right.
doing? You see what I mean?
Right. Sure. I mean,
Would
that's
that
that's
work?
not too different from the construction industry buying booth seats at a big arena and inviting their customers to go
I
watch a
like
football game,
that. Yeah, I
right?
like that very much.
So why is that different? Like if we reached out to this club owner and say, "Hey, I got 2 tickets to the PGA event coming up, or 4 tickets. You want to bring some colleagues and join me? Sponsored by my company. We'll get to see some, good golf, and I'll talk to you about what we're doing with accounting software."
I like that. I like that. Yeah, full disclosure, I can't stop talking about my work, and I do sell, things, but well,
Yeah,
that's kind of
you
like
don't even
still
need
see
to
like
do that, right?
professional.
Like, join me there. It's in town on this day, our treat, and it'll be sponsored by Golf Club Pro Accounting Tools, right?
Which I
Whatever.
happen to work for,
Yeah, right.
No, it's still
I'm
cool.
fumbling
It is still
here,
cool.
but
No, actually, I think it's really cool. And I think this already existed for. There was one guy on Wall Street. I can't recall the story or who it was or whatever it was, but
yeah,
basically they were just inviting people exactly like you're
to
saying. They
lunch.
just, yeah, exactly. In order to build their book of really wealthy people, they were just like doing this, and because they were like, chatting and then just
Right,
communicating as human beings during those matches, and I think
right.
feeling the same thing and stuff like that. It's sort of like say, got some of those businesses that way, right?
Good point, Jeremy.
Because you build the
I've been
trust
in.
basically. It's like, hey, I've seen you like in multiple games already. Seems like a nice chap. Yeah, tell me what you do.
Yep,
Maybe I invest like 10K with you or
exactly.
whatever.
Exactly. So, granted, for this to work, they would absolutely have to be qualified. So, imagine a
Yes,
construction firm is
6 months
talking to
later,
a developer.
no
No, yeah,
interest.
um, but I have been involved in some campaigns where the client's like, "Look, Jack, I do outreach, but I do it differently. I'm selling something. They're usually consultants, and they say I do a lunch campaign, and it works really good. And every Friday, I'm going to different parts of London or different parts of New York, and I'm
Mm.
sitting down, and the pitch is, hey, I'll buy you a steak. let's get some lunch. I want to hear more about your business. I'll tell you what we're doing on our side. What do you say? Right. And it, it does work. It does work, but like, it's only for the right service or product. But it just makes me think, like, coming full circle to the beginning conversation, how could we start sales conversations differently, with a limited market, with like a campaign that's just challenging?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we say anything that's actionable yet? I know it's water cooler and we're not worried about that, but is there?
I do think like people need to consider multiple channels for those type of things and have probably have like a clear, like, not trying to fool people. I think that's very
Sure.
important, because as soon as people feel they have been fooled or like taking advantage of, then
Right.
you're burnt, right? There's no chance of coming back from that, because you just, you know,
Oh my
all the
God.
goodwill you're trying to build and trust is just going to evaporate
Shoot,
very quickly.
Jeremy, we're beating around the bush. What we've been attempting to describe is the Dan Martell approach, where he would pick a city, tech
Yeah, and then
forward,
invite people.
uh,
Yeah.
but look what's different. He would invite 12, or very likely he would invite 20, and 9 of them would say yes,
Yeah.
and then host a dinner with 9 potentials, not just one-on-one. And that's probably a change I
Probably
would
even
make.
better. Because honestly, if I
Exactly.
was like, I don't know, obviously I'm not, but if I was like owner of a golf club and you're telling me like, hey, there's 5 other owner of a golf club that are gonna come, the lunch is
Yeah.
only sponsored by XYZ, then there's if this is a market in which we don't have a lot of networking, then I'll definitely go. Right? But it could be that I know
Turn.
them already.
Mhm.
So, oh, but then
Right.
in this case, you'll just lose like, hey, John from, Jack from this course is going to come. He mentioned you as well as, a cool dude. Do you want to just join us?
Wow. Wow. So there you go. Oh, that's so smart, Jeremy. So basically, when you get one yes, you would
Yeah,
say, like, hey, are there any other golf owners you know that you like that should
yeah,
also be here? Okay, great. And that would be as simple as like a phone call. Hey, I got your number from John. He said you'd be a good person to invite. And that's likely going to have a 50%
yeah.
conversion right there. Right.
I like your group stuff. Is there a way that we could do the group stuff without being like in person? Like, can I actually just do something? I know at some point one campaign was actually an interesting one. I'm not sure if this is linked to that, but it's actually pretty interesting. The first thing they were trying to sell me their product, right? And I said no, and then they pivoted and by saying like, how about at least we invite you to our Slack group that contains a lot of people like you in your situation, whatever.
A downsell. I love it. I love it.
Exactly, right? That was a downsell. And so, that, yeah, you wouldn't sell the drone stuff if you're selling the accounting software. But the idea would be effectively you're sort of like trying to do the same thing like in person, but
Right.
digitally. Like, is there a way to do that?
So,
Like
okay.
a
So let's
secret
forget.
group on whatever?
Hmm. I mean, by the way, creating a group hosted, I don't care where, of your ideal customers is very smart. That's a moneymaker. That's a good thing to be doing. So,
Could be. It could. It's a double-edged sword. When, for example, a new competitor comes in and it's more latest feature, whatever, and then people start talking about it on your group, then that's not necessarily the ideal thing. And it did happen
fair
to a few
point.
of my competitors too.
Okay. Fair. Okay. So then, can we make a free steak lunch a virtual thing with
Yeah,
more than one
that's a good
person?
question. I'd love that.
All right. I have a potential. So, all right, Jeremy, I'm writing a book on cold outreach. I want you to contribute. I want to feature you. In addition, I have this person, this person, this person that will also be contributing. What do you say?
That's great.
Right with my.
We're also coming back to podcasting and books. I think that's great. That's a fantastic idea. So yeah, the only thing we where do we beat around the bushes again? Like, we did that already in the past in one of the campaigns we were talking about. It's like, I invite you to my podcast and I say, hey Jack, can I invite you to my podcast?
Right.
Full disclosure. at the end, if you want, like, or you stick around, like we talk about this, like, hey, you do the whole
Yeah.
thing and you say, hey, can I, can I get permission to pitch you my thing? It's only a 10 minutes thing. And then I just want to see if,
Yeah. Or my style is more like, let me just hit you over the head with so many good ideas that you're going to interrupt me and ask, how do I work? You know, I've done that, and it works a lot better than having to like do like a stop start pitch. But okay, so then are we saying that the podcast invite or the collaboration invite is
yeah.
the virtual version of the steak dinner? You're going to
Yeah, I
get
think it could be,
value.
or the book one. Hey, you could do a book club, you know, even, but like that seems to be an interesting thing at the moment. Like, hey, we're I'm inviting like five other, smart marketers to discuss about this book.
Yeah.
Would
Oh,
you actually be interested in
it's
joining and then
okay. So what's kind of cool, Jeremy, we've
masterminding?
we've discussed several things that have been proven to work. So Dan Martell, the
Yep.
construction ticket to the event, the consulting one-on-one steak lunch. Um, it, these things do work, but like it kind of makes me think like, okay, this is the traditional lunch and learn. I'm going to buy your office, sandwiches, and you can hear my spiel for half an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a lunch and learn because it's been done so many times that we know the term. So I think it is a reality that if you're having a hard time with a campaign and you have a limited market and you're selling something high ticket, maybe you step back and you put on the kind of old school sales approach hat for a moment and try and adapt it to something that works with you. So if you're not doing the in-person, I'm kind of thinking that book collaboration or podcast kind of starting point could be the icebreaker that you need. Check me on that, Jeremy. Is that the right summary?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, all those things, some are easier than others to actually pull off. You got also summits, like I'm not sure this happens so
Right.
much anymore. Like I didn't hear that much anymore. Like this idea of like, inviting a lot of speakers to a
Right.
place. Um,
To a virtual place, I
yeah, virtual
suppose.
summit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now,
Um, More
you've done a
complicated.
summit and
Yeah,
and
dude,
I think
it's tough.
it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it works well for my friend,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, it's a lot of work. It requires you to have a good position in the market, very clear ICP, so ideal customer
Right.
profile, and then bring value for just them. So he didn't actually invite the people who would be their customer, his customers, right? It was actually just the customers were invited to the summit.
Okay. So I'm starting to get like a little bit of a way to crystallize this. So
Yeah,
let's
I'm
go
getting
back
information
to
overload at the
no, it's
moment.
it's it's good. It's helpful. So let's kind of wrap with this scenario. Let's say you're trying to sell this golf accounting software and you find that it's such a pain to integrate as very difficult to break into new accounts.
Yeah.
Okay. So so when you send cold outreach about their accounting tool, crickets. Um, maybe 0.5% are like, I've had it, I'll talk to you. Right. But it's slow. So what we're really describing is pick of pick something else that's valuable. When we had a guest on the podcast, for example, during COVID, they are selling something hard to break through, and they just
Mhm.
reached out saying, "Hey, we want to sell to you one day, but right now we got a bunch of N95 masks. We think you might be able to use it, and we send you a box." Right. So it may be like if your pitch is not inherently interesting to every prospect right now, maybe it's time to pick a different pitch and start there. Yeah. I'm like, that sounds kind of scary because you're like, what are you telling me? Not to do outreach and say what I'm selling. But for some cases, I honestly might test that out. True or false?
Well, that could be an A/B testing, right? You don't have to, put all your eggs into the same basket. You could still, do your normal campaign.
Or even a
And
downsell. That's your downsell. Okay.
yeah,
Sounds like you're happy.
I
What
love
about
that.
this?
I love that. I love
It
that.
might be better. Why don't we do more
Hey,
downselling?
I still want to stay in touch with you. Or, well, yeah, I do think, access to a community is a really great downsell.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Um, it's literally really little effort from the person to just say, yeah, they could still, check it out, whatever. The problem is the engagement after, they join the community eventually, right?
But even at that point, I mean, since it's a water cooler, I'll keep riffing here. Our friend Will, right? Great guy,
Right.
very sharp marketer.
Yep.
Told me that in order to close some of his bigger clients, he bought their course first, became a customer of them, and used that forum to get access to pick their brain on what he was working on.
I love this one. You would actually go to the freaking golf course yourself, play it,
Okay.
obviously, if this is not like member only type of thing. So you
Yeah.
would like play it and then ask to see the owner. Just
So,
compliment whatever, and then just exchange like, you're together on LinkedIn, for example, just ask for like, hey, can we actually connect? You connect on
right.
LinkedIn, and then a month later say, hey, had a blast at your thing. Thank you so much. I
Right.
happen to be whatever. Yeah, it's probably hard. It's
Mm-hmm.
again, I think it's hard to pivot, right? From
Well,
a
I
genuine
had a
conversation
I
to
had a client
downselling.
who was selling a special, call it like a body scan technology to gyms, and he was a big fitness guy.
Mm.
And to get his first 100 customers, he went to a bunch of gyms on the weekend around his state, and he would do a workout, know the owner, get their information, and do like sales follow-up that's very traditional. Hey, I did your workout. Stacy was an incredible instructor. I'm reaching out to ask how you help your clients with this kind of thing. It worked. And he said he tried it without visiting the gym first, and it worked like a fraction of the amount,
That makes so much sense anyway. And I mean, we're only talking about sales here, but the amount of information you're gathering when you're actually doing that, like, does the gym have, a body scanner?
Right?
Because if it
Do they
has, then
care?
yeah, exactly. Do they care? Is that used? Who's using it? Um,
Wow.
you could always ask those questions when you're,
Yeah.
on the premises. You could just say like, hey, is your body scanner used a lot? Whatever. Like, what do you think of
Yeah.
your body scanner? Like, you don't even have to say like you're selling body scanner, right? You can talk to the employees and then you go up to the boss or
Right.
whatever, say like, hey, I heard your body scanner is it's pretty old,
Outdated. Yeah.
I just happen to be in that business as you're actually just, doing the gym stuff. I just happen to be in that business and feel like, hey, you could get a much better than one.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I send you a quote or like, some,
Do you want to try it out? I got it in my truck
yeah.
and back. Right.
That's like, yeah, because I always drive with that freaking thing on the back of my truck.
I mean,
But you see, like, that could be cool.
so I think the topic today was incorporating old school sales techniques into,
Yeah, but I don't want to do that,
modern
Jack.
outreach.
I don't want to just go out. Like, it'd be fun to
No, I'm not
do.
going I'm not going in person, but
Right,
I
right,
think
right.
we've mentioned a couple in-person-esque options out there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
I'll come back to, if
fun.
the pitch isn't grabbing, try a different pitch.
Mm-mm-mm.
Embrace the downsell.
Sounds good.
It does
I'm
sound
running out
good.
of water.
Jeremy wants to wrap. All right, I'll leave you, listener, with this. If you are adverse to maybe offering something that's going to be a bit more costly than a traditional like cold email or a LinkedIn outreach, just think about it. If you're not going to be doing that and you got to level it up somehow, what are you going to do? Spend that amount on ads or spend that amount with another marketing effort? Like, it's kind of a way to supercharge your outreach if you just are willing to, for the right person, give them a whole bunch of stuff that's hard to say no to, even if it's quasi related to what you're selling.
And it could
Thanks,
be
Jeremy.
a
Thanks for
certain
indulging.
phase as well of your business. It could be just at the beginning you have to do that sort of thing, and then after that you pivot all the other way around.
Or your
Or it
name
could be an
brand,
environment,
and you get the referral once you get the foot in the door with this, and you roll that way.
and then you change your strategy and approach. Yeah, I
Nice.
know.
That feels great. I love that. All right, this was fun, Jeremy. All right,
Cool.
water cooler, but I actually feel like I could use some of this. So
Yeah, you get my my
fun.
cock turnings here. I'm already like thinking about a few things I could try.
Love it. All right, Jeremy. Well, I'm the same here, and thanks for getting the juices going. I'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Cool.
Bye.